I have a friend, Tristan, who he is always like on the cusp of technological advancement. So obviously that means he's playing around with AI at the moment.
Amazing.
And he sent me a bunch of stuff like images that he's generated with like it's some pretty crazy stuff. Like he recreated a scene from Black Widow,
Wow.
like the Marvel movie,
Yeah.
in like a comic book art style.
Yeah,
and
okay.
it looks like dead on to one of the actual like a cover of the comic books and
Amazing.
stuff. So he's got this stuff down, and he sent me a clip of Scarlett Johansson. I guess that seems to be his muse. It's like let's
Yeah.
mess with
I mean,
Scarlett Johansson.
Great muse, if
Yeah.
I must. What is it? I love you, Tristan. Be mine. Is that what we're talking about?
Pretty much, like he had an audio book of her, so he fed that through like a voice recognition software.
Yeah.
Called, it's got a very like generic name, retrieval based voice conversion.
Huh.
And so the way it works is you give it a voice of a person talking.
And you can then make it say those things in its voice. Yeah, I've heard about this used a lot for scams. So they're like, be careful that when like a random number rings you and doesn't say anything, don't be like hello, or like it might try to make you say yes, or so that it can recreate, like call your mum and sound just like you.
Yeah. Well,
I think, did we talk about this on the podcast where like a woman was sitting like downstairs and her daughter like rang her, and the only reason she knew it wasn't her because she's up there.
No, I
was like, Mom, help me, I'm like this or whatever is happening.
I don't think we've talked about it, but like it doesn't surprise me that that kind of thing has been happening.
Yeah.
Like, that's as soon as we get a new technology,
We use it for crime.
yeah,
and
there's always someone that's like, all right, how can we abuse this?
It's always the initial two things are like, how do we do crimes and use it for sex reasons? That's basically the two applications for immediate and
Yeah.
possibly war. If like you're at a higher level.
Sure.
Depends how high a level you are.
Well, I
feels
mean-
like strata of society, the highest strata of society is like, how can we use this to oppress others and create war? Medium strata is like, can we use it for sex? And then like lower, like shady strata is like, how do we do better crimes?
Isn't war just a high scale crime?
Yes. I would say so.
I feel like crimes and sex, that sums it up pretty well.
Yeah.
So, this is one of those things. Like, I know a lot of people, like, I think it was like Ice Cube or someone was like suing the creator of an AI generated song.
That sounds like that's based off him.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't think it's one of these things. You just got to embrace it at this point because it's going to happen
Interesting.
regardless.
Yeah, interesting prospect.
Yeah. So he was messing around with Scarlett Johansson. And so the way it works is you give it a voice and like it's got to be enough to train it on. So
Yeah.
he had an audiobook read by Scarlett
Which
Johansson.
would be tons.
Yeah. And then he used it to recreate a song. It's like The Weeknd's Party Monster or something like that. And it sounded pretty good.
Oh, I'm not going to hear it.
Sorry, no, I don't have that one at the
Okay.
moment. But I heard that and I'm like, now you've piqued my interest. How much audio do you need to
Because I
recreate
have
someone's
months
voices?
of a podcast.
Exactly. He's like, they basically need about like 10 minutes of uninterrupted speaking.
I'm starting to know where this is going.
No, I didn't recreate your voice,
Okay,
if that's
good.
what we're getting
I was
at.
getting nervous. I would hate that. Please don't.
So when
Just
we...
note for everyone, I would absolutely fucking hate that. So don't do it,
And
please.
the best way to get people to not do something is to announce it.
Well, I'll just stop doing the podcast. So that will be your punishment.
My co-host will be AI
It'll have
generated.
to be.
Nobody.
You would love that.
Like I said, you got to embrace these things.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my audio from one of the episodes that we've recorded over Zoom because I've got like just my isolated vocal track.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So there's no one else there. It's like it's not the AI is not going to learn a conglomeration of our voices somehow.
And have
Yeah.
like a horrible baby.
Yeah. And so he sent me back a couple of clips. Mm-hmm. This is the first one. It was it's like me reading the book A Christmas Carol.
I'm so excited. Why was that it?
I think, again, it must be just what he had lying around on audiobook already or something. Because you can't just type whatever you want. You have to replace an existing recording. So, like, I guess theoretically, if you really wanted me to say whatever you wanted, you could record something and then have it replace that recording.
Right.
But he was like, I don't have a great microphone and this is probably just, easier to use what I've got lying around. So this is me doing A Christmas Carol. The funny thing about it is Tim Curry is the original narrator.
I'm so excited.
And so I think like the AI gets a bit tripped up when you do an Australian voice over
a British guy.
Yeah. So you'll notice a few inconsistencies, but let's have a listen. Marley was dead to begin with. There is no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Mind, I don't mean to say that I know of my own knowledge what there is particularly dead about a doornail. I might have been inclined myself to regard a coffin nail as the deadest piece of ironmongery in the trade. But the wisdom of our ancestors is in the simile, and my unhallowed hand shall not disturb it, or the country's done for. You will therefore permit me to repeat emphatically that Marley was as dead as a doornail. So it's not perfect.
No, certainly not.
It's a weird mashup of like me doing a fake British accent.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I wouldn't quite, but like there's something a bit off. It does sound as if you.
It's like I'm trying to do an impression of Tim Curry.
Yes, basically.
As dad,
very
as a doornail.
Badly though.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you rang me, I'd be like, "Is everything okay?"
But we went from there. I'm like, all right, this is clearly. Yeah, there's clearly some room for improvement here. What if we tried to recreate an Australian accent?
Right, okay.
And so I had to think. I'd been listening to the Hamish and Andy podcast that morning, which is one of our faves. And so I pulled up a clip of one of like the most memorable segments where it's just Hamish talking.
Okay.
Which is Hamish reading a script that he's written called Zero Dark Flirty.
Oh, and it's a current fave as well for us. So
I'm going to play you the Hamish version first so you can kind of see what we were working with. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's not a lot of context, but basically it's like, here's a short segment of Hamish who's pretended he found a script that Andy wrote.
Yes.
And he's reading like the stage directions and that kind of thing.
A suave brunette male looks up from his drink at the bar. He is amazing looking and smirks a smirk that will be known as his trademark smirk as his career continues. This is the hero, Andre, and must contractually be played by Andy Lee. This is non-negotiable. Andre.
You talking to thee?
The audience in the theatre will love this line, even though it's a little bit similar to Robert De Niro's famous line in Taxi Driver. Critics love the ye olde twist given to it, and it will probably be used in the promo clip they show of the film when they're reading out the Best Actor nominations.
All right, so that's the original.
Such a great segment on its own.
Yeah, if people aren't familiar, go like YouTube it.
Zero Dark Flirty is so great.
Yeah, just YouTube Zero Dark Flirty. It's 7 minutes of your life that you will not regret.
No, it's great.
And so this is me being Hamish.
Okay.
A suave brunette male looks up from his drink at the bar. He is amazing looking and smirks a smirk that will be known as his trademark smirk as his career continues. This is the hero, Andre, and must contractually be played by Andy Lee. This is non-negotiable. Andre, you talking to thee? The audience in the theatre will love this line, even though it's a little bit similar to Robert De Niro's famous line in Taxi Driver. Critics love the ye olde twist given to it, and it will probably be used in the promo clip they show of the film when they're reading out the Best Actor nominations. So that's me. I forgot that I also did one line as
I'm like, it's weird
Andy.
when you talk to yourself. Yeah. But also, like, it's just ever so slightly clipped or something on each word. Like, it's just...
Yeah, it's
a bit stilted.
It's pretty good, though.
It is quite good.
Like, considering he only had 10 minutes worth of audio that he used to train the AI on. But I do like the chuckles in the background sound super fucked up because I guess it's like trying to make it sound like I'm also laughing at myself or something. Here's the grand finale.
Okay.
Is we had been talking about good times, September 11. So he was like, all right, this song seems appropriate. He picked New York, New York.
Okay.
And he sent me singing New York, New York as the AI.
Interesting.
And it's pretty funny.
Okay.
I will play like just the first half. Maybe I'll save the rest for like the end of the show or something. But let's just listen and we can talk about it afterwards. start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep and find I'm king of the hill. Chop out the heat. These little town blues are melting away. There's a little taste of my musical career. It sounds like if I sung New York, New York, and maybe had some even more talent than I do.
Yeah, it sounds as if you... It also, like, the slight delay kind of works. It sounds like we captured you doing it, trying to pretend to be Frank Sinatra, but also, like, at karaoke. So you, are watching the ball and, like, having to follow the words.
Yeah.
So the delay kind of works in that way. But, like, did it guess the top of your vocal range or something?
So I think that's how it works, is that I gave him a sample from the podcast, but obviously I'm not reaching some high notes.
No, so it's like, oh, this guy can't reach that.
Yeah, so it really just sounds like I lose my voice halfway through. And I'm like, he struggles to reach those high notes as much as I do. But it's funny though. It's basically just, as the song goes on, progressively get a worse and worse singer. But yeah, I heard that and I was like pissing myself
That's so
laughing.
funny. It's pretty good.
I know. I was impressed, but I told him like only use this for evil, and that's what he came back with. So the mission accomplished. I guess.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
Midnight Crisis.